morning, children. It's my happy to welcome you all for this online class, and I invite all the 7th standard A1, A2, and A3 students to attend this social science class. And in today's lesson, we are moving into the final lesson of history in term 1. And the title of our lesson is The Delhi Sultanate. In our previous lesson, we studied about the origin of Muslims and their growth and their conquest in India. We also studied about Muhammad Ghori, who became the first Muslim king to make a permanent kingdom in India. And the previous Muslim kings, they only attacked India, defeated and plundered the wealth of India, and they went back to their country. But Muhammad Ghori is the first Muslim king who want to make a permanent kingdom and rule in India. And also Muhammad Ghori did not have any children to succeed his throne. So after his life, there is no children to take control of his kingdom. So he adopted a slave boy, and the name of the slave boy is Qutbuddin Aibak. So after adopting this boy, he gave him a military training. And while conquering in India, there was a threat from Arabs and Turks in his native place. So in order to resist the attacks of the enemy, Muhammad Ghori went back to his native Afghanistan. So before going back to his country, he placed his slave son Qutbuddin Aibak as the governor of India, northern part of India. Okay, so after placing him as the governor, he went back to his native Afghanistan. And after his death, after the death of Muhammad Ghori, Qutbuddin Aibak, his slave son, the Governor General of India, he declared himself as the Sultan. Sultan means king in Arabic language. So he declared himself as the king of India, and ultimately he became the first king of Delhi Sultanate. So Qutbuddin Aibak is the first sultan or first king of Delhi Sultanate. And the Delhi Sultanate is divided into 5 major dynasties. They are Slave Dynasty, Khilji Dynasty, Tughlaq Dynasty, Sayyid Dynasty, and Lodi Dynasty. So these are the 5 important major dynasties of the Delhi Sultanate. And now let's move on to the first dynasty, the Slave Dynasty. As we studied just now, the Slave Dynasty, the founder of the Slave Dynasty is Qutbuddin Aibak. He was a slave son of Muhammad Ghori, and he was the only the Governor General. His father made him only as the Governor General, but after his father's death, he declared himself as the king. Okay, so his dynasty is also known as Mamluk dynasty. Mamluk means slave in Arabic language. Okay, so he is the first king, and he established his capital at Lahore, which is in Pakistan. And then later he shifted his capital to Delhi. And also he made some campaigns, successful campaigns to central and western parts of Indo-Gangetic Plain. Campaign means carrying some troops and traveling to distance far and attacking their territory. And also he built the famous Quwatul Islam Masjid in Delhi. Masjid means mosque. So this Quwatul Islam is the first mosque in India. So the first mosque in India was built by Qutbuddin Aibak, which is known as Quwatul Islam. And also laid the foundation of the Qutub Minar. Qutb is his name, okay, and Minar is a tower, large tower. So he made the foundation. He did not complete it, but he made the foundation of Qutb Minar, the famous building in Delhi. And finally, he died while playing polo on a horseback. Accidentally, he fell from the horse and he died in 1210. So these are the some of the informations about Qutbuddin Aibak. So after Qutbuddin Aibak, his son, the name of his son is Aram Shah. He is an incapable man. He could not able to lead or succeed the uh, Sultanate throne. So what happened? Uh, Ultimately, Iltutmish, his son-in-law, became the next king. Okay, and moreover, Iltutmish is also a slave. Okay, he was a slave of Qutbuddin Aibak. So he is also called a slave of a slave. Uh, he was a governor general for Qutbuddin Aibak. And finally, Qutbuddin Aibak got Iltutmish married to his daughter. And finally, he became the next king. So, Iltutmish, during his period, there was a constant threat from the Mongolians. So, in order to resist the Mongolian attack, he organized a group of 40 nobles. Okay, 40 people from high family, which is known as Chahal Ghani. Okay, Chahal Ghani, which is named as group of 40 nobles. So these 40 nobles, they were from the Turkish background. They were Turkish nobles, and their important duty is to watch over the um, plans of the enemies in Mongolia. Okay, and also Iltutmish completed the Qutub Minar. So it was started by Qutbuddin Aibak and it was completed by Iltutmish. And also Iltutmish granted Iktas to his army members. Okay, Iktas means land. So the wages, salaries were paid by the king in the form of land, not in the form of money. So what happened? Armies will be given a land, and the armies will give the land to the farmers, and using the income from the farmland, they paid their salary to the troops and all the horses and uh, other things related to the military. And finally, Iltutmish died in 1236 after ruling the kingdom for 26 years. Okay, then. So Iltutmish nominated his daughter Razia Sultana as the next supreme, because his elder son Rukuddin Firuz was dead. So uh, he did not want his younger son to rule the country, and so he nominated his daughter Razia. And Razia became the only female ruler of the whole Muslim dynasties. So there is no other female ruler other than Razia in the Muslim rule. She is the only female ruler of Muslim dynasty. Okay, and she was very able and brave fighter. And during her time, there was a tough times for her with the Turkish nobles. So the local Turkish nobles, we studied about them. There were 40 nobles, isn't it, in the court of Qutbuddin Iltutmish. Okay, these nobles, they had a tough time with Russia. They did not go along with Russia. There was no uh, peace with uh, peace between Russia and these Turkish nobles. Okay, and also she faced a hard situation from the Mongols. They raided Punjab. Mongols raided Punjab and they attacked India. So Russia faced a double threat. There is a threat internally and also externally. Internally, there was a threat from the Turkish nobles, and externally, Mongols started to attack Punjab. Okay, she also made an Ethiopian slave named Jalaluddin Yaqut as her personal attendant. So, leaving all the local nobles, not trusting the local nobles, she made an Ethiopian slave as her attendants. So, this decision led to a great revolt. There was a great fight among the Turkish nobles, and finally, those nobles got her murdered in 1240 AD. So Razia was killed by her Turkish nobles because of her not paying much importance to the Turkish nobles. So after Ghasia, there were three weak rulers ascended to the throne, and there were nothing much important about them. And finally, after those three weak rulers, Ghiyasuddin Balban came to the throne. So he abolished the 40 nobles as it was hostile to him. So he did not like those 40 nobles. So he abolished that system. And also he established spies to gather intelligence from the enemy territory. And Tugril Khan, he is one of his provincial governors of one of his territory of Bengal. He was beheaded. His head was cut off because he protested against Ghiyasuddin Balban. So he was very hard and he was very rigid among his among the internal threats, and he also had a good relation with the Mongols. So far there was no good relation with the Mongolians. There was always from the period of Iltutmish threat from the Mongolians, but during Balban time he made a uh, good relation with the Mongols, and also he made an agreement with the son-in-law of Genghis Khan, so that they will never attack beyond Sutlej, the river Sutlej. Okay, and his son Kaikubad is the final and the last king of the slave dynasty. He was a very weak king, and finally he was murdered by his army commander Jalaluddin. So with Kaikubad, the slave dynasty came to an end, and his army commander Jalaluddin started a new dynasty named as Khilji dynasty from the period of about 1290 to 1320 AD. And there were only two important prominent kings in the Khilji dynasty. One is the founder of the Khilji dynasty, Jalaluddin Khilji, and the other one is his nephew. The name of his nephew is Alauddin Khilji. So only these are the two prominent kings of the Khilji dynasty. Okay, let's study about Jalaluddin Khilji. So Jalaluddin Khilji, he ruled over the kingdom only for 6 years. Okay, so all his military campaigns were led by his nephew Alauddin. He is the governor of Kara. Okay, so all the military activities was led by his nephew Alauddin. So during a while, Alauddin defeated the Yadava king Ramachandra, and he plundered the city and returned with huge wealth. So he defeated a Yadava king and he plundered all the uh, costly wealth from that territory. So with that huge wealth, he brought the important nobles and commanders with that wealth, and he killed Jalaluddin, the founder of Khilji dynasty, and he became the Sultan in 1296. Okay, so what happened? After defeating the Yadava king Ramachandra, he plundered a great wealth, and using the wealth, he bribed the nobles and commanders of Jalaluddin um, dynasty, and he killed he killed the king to become the next king. So Alauddin Khilji, the nephew of Jalaluddin Khilji, he came to throne in 1296 AD, and he is the first sultan who attacked the southern part of India. So all this while, the Delhi Sultanate, they ruled only northern part of India. Nobody reached till the south. And Alauddin Khilji is the first king who reached up to south. He came up to Madurai and attacked the territories. He also undertook the agrarian resources, agricultural lands. He surveyed the agricultural land and he fixed a revenue demand. So he made a survey of the agricultural land and he made taxes for the farmers. Okay, so he gave the in charge to the military officers. So the military officers have to collect the taxes from the farmland. And also he established the forced procurement of food grains, that is by force taking the grains and storing them in the granaries. Okay, he used a force system. He was a cruel king. So finally he died in 1360, which ended the Khilji dynasty. And so far we have completed two dynasties in Delhi Sultanate, and we have three more dynasties: the Tughlaq dynasty, Sayyid dynasty, and Lodi dynasty, which we will study in the next class. Go through the notes, children. We'll meet in the next class. Bye.